This is the perfect situation for us to be in week 2 because we're going to find out what this team is made of early in the season as we're in these tough games. And today, I saw the most resilient team I've ever seen. There was no ounce of panic in this dude's eyes. It was just confidence. As I've worked for this moment, I'm ready to lead this team. And when it mattered most, 4th downs, he doesn't care, man. He just let us down the field. Quarterback sneak to finish it off.
Who they think gon' beat them Bengals? Who they think gon' beat them Bengals?
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Connor Rogers, Matthew Berry, and Jay Croucher. That sound you heard at the top was a very excited, at least for the short-term, Bengals locker room, Matthew, because, oh, man, that's overall a really tough day for this organization.
Very tough day. And a game, and candidly, they should have lost. I mean,
yes.
Which we'll get into
they're
in a
playing
second.
the Jags. Yeah, should you ever lose when you're playing
find
the
ways
Jags?
to lose.
Jaguars are going to Jaguar. But I will just say, listen, we all love Joe Burrow here. Awful to see. He's going to miss 3 months. News came out.
At least.
Adam Schefter and others reporting turf toe looks bad. But he's going to need surgery, I guess, at least 3 months, right? It's for all intents and purposes, he is lost for the fantasy football season and for the majority of the Bengals season, Jay.
Can we please get Joe Burrow an offensive line in the offseason? He does do this every year.
It's Andrew Luck level stuff at this point, I think.
It's every single year. He's never had a good offensive line in the NFL. He's always fighting for his life. Just take a left tackle. Just get an offensive line for next year.
They have drafted plenty.
Yeah.
It's just
dropped a good one.
There's always holes, and and he's a guy that sometimes he'll hold the ball and try to maneuver the pocket. Like some of those yesterday was him trying to create something. That's his greatness. Yeah, right. But his greatness, Matthew, also leads him into trouble.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because the actual play, I mean, he gets tackled around the ankles, but it didn't look bad in the moment.
Just awkward, I think.
Just awkward. But yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the preseason. Like, Joe, we jokingly said, like, Joe Burrow's going to get killed behind this offensive line, and yet he sort of does, right? I mean, like, he's been under pressure each of the first, game and a half, however long he was there. Either way, Joe Burrow drinks for free today here at the Happy Hour bar. Joe, we love you, and we hope for a speedy and healthy recovery.
And for the Bengals, in what was a high-scoring game, they were not slowed down too much by Jake Browning coming into this game, guys. I mean, you look at him going 21 of 32 for over 240 yards. He does throw a couple picks, but he throws 2 touchdowns through the air. As you see the scoring in this game, monster day for Jamar Chase, but that didn't stop T. Higgins from getting his as well. We got to hear from Zach Taylor on just the confidence now with this offense belonging to Jake Browning.
It's never been too big for him. He's always known that he's ready. He just wanted an opportunity. That's all he wants. And I think he comes in building every day knowing something like this can happen today. And his career, I don't think it's this extreme, but could end if you're not prepared and you walk out there and you have a really bad performance and everybody sees that tape and they say, okay, that's enough of that. And so I think as a backup quarterback, he lives that life. He knows I got to be prepared. Could be at any moment, could be down a touchdown, and I got to lead this team back to win. And we've had that confidence every step of the way with Jake. He's proven that for us time and time again. He's fully capable to go out there and lead it. And we're fortunate we got the best quarterback in the world leading the charge. And we're also very happy we got Jake as the backup.
This is from Adam Schefter. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow will need the toe surgery that will sideline him a minimum of 3 months. Once again, that recovery timeline of 3 months is the more optimistic side. This is not typically a surgery that you see with quarterbacks very often. Hopefully Joe Burrow, though, does meet that timeline. I think in the short term, though, Matthew, there's just no way around it. We got to discuss the trickle effect on the rest of this offense that has so many vital fantasy talents.
For sure. It's not that we want to make light of the injury. It's a serious injury. But the fact of the matter is we are a fantasy football show. We're going to talk about the fantasy football implications of an injury to a guy that was drafted universally as a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year, and to your point, has elite playmakers around him, 2 top 10 wide receivers and a top 10 running back. So let's first talk about Jake Browning here. So he played a number of games back in 2023 when he replaced Joe Burrow, and he was fine.
Yeah.
Like, he was absolutely fine. He averaged over 260 passing yards per game, 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That sounds about right. He also had 3 one-yard rushing touchdowns during that phase, so he averaged over 19 fantasy points per game in those 7 starts. But again, like, all of what I just said we sort of saw play out against the Jaguars when he came in. He threw a couple of bad picks. He did get a 1-yard touchdown plunge. He ultimately threw for a lot of yards. Like, the fact is that all the reasons we like Joe Burrow beyond just his exceptional talent are there for Jake Browning. It's a bad defense. It's a pass-first offense. And, oh, by the way, he's getting to throw to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and he's got Chase Brown out of the backfield. None of those things change.
Yeah, I think the pass-first offense is the interesting thing where, so the past 3 years, the Bengals, in terms of pass rate over expectation, they've ranked first, second, and second. So they throw pretty much more than anyone else along with Kansas City, with Patrick Mahomes. Thing is that when Jake Browning came in 2023, they still threw a ton.
Yeah.
They threw a ton over expectation. Wasn't as much, but this is still an offense that's going to throw. I also think it's interesting, Connor, this offense, it's not predicated on like Joe Burrow like taking deep shots or lasering, but like it's a lot of short stuff. It's always a low average depth of target. And so Browning is going to be a lot worse than Joe Burrow, but he'll still be able to replicate a lot of the aspects of the offense.
This is the classic case of they have a backup that what he does best is what the starter does best. Now, he's nowhere near Joe Burrow. Nobody's saying that. But they are typically somewhat physically limited guys that rely on accuracy and making the right decisions, but also being willing. And Browning made some bad ones yesterday in a tough spot, but he also made some good decisions. So when you look at it, he's been in this offense a couple of years now where he understands how to operate on a high enough level that it doesn't sink everybody. But I think, yeah, it goes back to what Jay said and what you said, Matthew. Like, the fact that they're just willing to throw the ball with him is a really positive sign.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take too much out of his performance yesterday just from this sense. Like, typically backup quarterbacks get 5 passes of practice. Like, they don't get a ton of reps. Now, this upcoming week, Jake Browning is going to get every single rep in practice, right? He's going to go into the week knowing, hey, I'm the starter, and Zach Taylor, in theory, is going to design a game plan that, accentuates what Jake Browning does well and probably scales back on some of the stuff that maybe Joe Burrow could do, but Jake Browning just isn't there, right? And so there's a difference between, hey, oh, crap, get in there, grab your helmet and get in there versus, okay, we've got a whole week to prepare knowing that you are the guy, that you are taking the first snap as well. So I think he's a viable fantasy fill-in. The one things I want to say, Ashley Morris asking on YouTube, blow the fab budget on Browning in Superflex leagues. That I wouldn't do depending on, well, I guess I suppose depends on what else you have, what else is out there. But certainly, as long as Jake Browning is healthy, he's going to be the starting quarterback on a fantasy-friendly offense. Like, I mean, it just depends what you have, but I don't know that I'm blowing the budget. But yes, if you just lost Joe Burrow and there's nothing much out there, then I would be aggressive with Jake Browning. Very quickly, while the question is coming up, here's some quarterbacks that are available in over 50% of leagues. Again, assuming you're in a one-quarterback league: Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa. And I think that's kind of the order. We'll dive into more of this tomorrow on our waiver show, but that sounds like the order. I mean, I might flip Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence, but I mean, I think those are the two guys you want, and then Geno, and then you got Tua.
Regular Rudy? Is it time to sell Chase Brown? That seems like a very dangerous reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the production from all the players that we care about on the Bengals, Chase, Higgins, and Brown, are going to be lowered. This offense isn't going to be as good with Jake Browning as it was with Joe Burrow. You think about the 2023 games. Jamar Chase averaged 12.2 fantasy points per game in 6 games with Browning in 2023. T. Higgins averaged 13.2 fantasy points per game in Browning's 7 starts in 2023. They both had a sub 15% target share. Now, Browning's a little bit more experienced in this offense. Those guys are a little bit more established. But I think that if I were, quote, re-ranking for the rest of the season, I would probably have Chase, as opposed to the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy, probably a low-end wide receiver 1. Yep. And Higgins goes from a borderline wide receiver 1-2 to a lower-end wide receiver 2. But I think you're probably better off hanging on to them as opposed to selling them at a discount, which is what you're going to do. No one is going to give you full price or anywhere close to full price until we see sort of a Jake Browning offense. And I'm telling you that I think, will they be as good as they were with Joe Burrow? No. Will they be competent and usable and still the guys you want to start week in, week out? Yes.
Yeah, I think Chase Brown, his his viability going forward maybe fluctuates the least of the three guys because one, they're still going to pass a lot, but they're going to pass less. They're going to run the ball more with Chase Brown there. Then there's going to be more dump-offs and screen passes to Chase Brown than there previously were. And then also, what the Bengals do, they throw in the red zone at one of the highest rates in the league. Now I think that they'll run the ball when they get in close a little bit more when you've got Chase Brown. So not too worried about Chase Brown. Touchdown equity will go down because they're not going to be in scoring position as much, but he should still be a very viable starter.
Connor, the only other concern I have here, look at their schedule.
I was just going to say, going back to that question about spending on Jake Browning, be wary of this. At Minnesota, at Denver, Detroit, which bounced back in a big way yesterday. They looked a little pissed about how they were perceived after week 1. And then at Green Bay, which who the hell on this team is blocking Micah Parsons?
Well, exactly right. So, I mean, I would argue, the next 4 games, 3 are on the road, and I would argue at Minnesota, at Denver, at Green Bay, those are two of the 3 best defenses in the NFL, and Minnesota is probably a top 10 defense with Brian Flores.
I mean, there's worlds where those could be the 4 best defenses in football. Like, it's not absolutely insane that could be the case.
Yeah,
like, that's how
Detroit is, Detroit's
got a good defense.
Detroit's got a solid defense as well. So it's going to be baptism by fire for Jake Browning and this Bengals offense immediately. It's good that they won this game because the road gets tougher here. But ultimately, that's why I'm saying, I mean, here's my only question to you guys then. Do you agree or disagree with me that as you sit here and look at this upcoming schedule, because I'm basically saying I'd hold lower expectations, but I'd hold my Bengals skill players. But if somebody's willing to offer you second round, a wide receiver 2 value for Chase or Higgins, are you taking it given this upcoming schedule?
I would never move Chase. I just think he's in the Justin Jefferson category of like Nick Mullins could be out there and it doesn't matter.
Quarterback
I think Higgins is a fascinating conversation because Higgins is a guy that it feels like you like him getting shots down the field, and I'm not saying Browning can't throw down the field, but I think he's the one that gets hurt the most here.
Who'd you rather have, Jamar Chase or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Jamar Chase.
I'd rather have the sun god, but that's just me.
I think it's Jamar Chase.
It's just like Chase did not have good production with Browning the last time around.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty. So that would be my concern.
He did, but in this particular game, 35% target share. He finishes the game with 10 for 128. So, I don't know. Both players are a little bit older at this point, right? More experience in this offense. Well, who else is he going to throw to? Andre Yoshevich? Come on.
Turnip Gesicki.
Yeah, exactly.
He might throw to them.
Mitchell Tinsley.
Yes.
I mean, exactly. Tinsley,
that's a serious one. He might actually throw to Tinsley.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball here, guys, Jacksonville, I mean, number one, a crushing loss for Jacksonville. But I think the fantasy storyline, Matthew, is like what DEFCON are we at for Brian Thomas Jr. with Trevor Lawrence right now? Because this isn't just a this year thing.
Yeah. This is a bad day at the office for Brian Thomas. Obviously the fourth down drop is is sort of what made headlines, but just, felt like he ran wrong routes, felt like he stopped running through a route as well. And
it was the reaction after the game from Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen was asked about it, and he was kind of like something I have to look into. He was
very visibly holding it back. What he really wanted to say. It reminded Brian Thomas's game yesterday. Reminded me of Anthony Volpe throwing to first base. What are you doing? Is there something wrong in the wiring? Where it's just he kind of had the yips. He was visibly pulling out of routes over the middle because he didn't want to get hit. It's what are you doing? This is your job. You have to try and catch the football. It's very strange.
5 for 60 would be a disappointing day at the office for Brian Thomas Jr. That's his total production on the year through 2 games. 5 receptions for only 60 yards, and yet he's getting a 27% target share yesterday.
Right, that's not the issue,
Just didn't come in with the ball. And I will just say this. We had a very good day on fantasy football pregame. A lot of stuff that we predicted came true. My desperation play was Diami Brown. Comes through with a touchdown here. But if there's one big, huge swing and miss, I was all in on Travis Hunter yesterday, and that did not work out. So I apologize, America.
Cornerback now.
I was going to say because they chose to play him on defense.
They chose to play him on defense, and he gets the penalty and I don't know.
Cody Kiger, is Diami Brown's stock up and BTJ's stock down?
Yes, but not in a way that you care about, right? Do they like Diami Brown a little bit more today than they did yesterday? Yeah, maybe. And BTJ they're annoyed with, but does that translate into anything you're going to do fantasy-wise? No. I mean, we can talk Diami Brown for deeper leagues tomorrow. Again, he was my desperation play. We always pick one player that's available in over 80% of leagues, and mine was Diami Brown yesterday. because they are running a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, and Brown is out there when Hunter and BTJ are. But still, I don't know. Travis Hunter, by the way, let's talk about him for real quickly. He's now been under 35 receiving yards in both games. He's got only 3 deep targets. He had under 15% target share in this one. I was so high on Travis Hunter in the preseason.
Me too.
And I was high on him on Sunday, and so just mea culpa, like swing and a miss. Like I was the Brian Thomas Jr. of fantasy analysts when it comes to the Jaguars yesterday. Like, yeah.
What are we doing with Travis Hunter next week against Houston? Like, is he?
We're benching him.
Yeah, it's a low-end flex.
If that, yeah. I mean, I think Brian Thomas Jr. you have to still keep starting. Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm benching Hunter until further notice. The one last positive I'll say about this game very quickly is Bashal Tutin looked as advertised.
Yes.
He's coming. You know, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to overtake Travis Etienne, but like
I think
he was
will.
very productive on
will
limited
by
touches.
Yeah.
He could be this year's Bucky Irving.
Kind of like a Jalen Warren feel with Tutin yesterday. Just get him going in the screen game, make a couple people miss, and he's just so explosive and looks different than everything else they have. So that is a positive for Jacksonville. And once again, all of these newer breakouts we mentioned will be deeper on waiver wires tomorrow as well. All right, let's go to a wild scoring game. Giants-Cowboys. This one was out of control. Malik Nabers and Russell Wilson were pretty much unstoppable through 4 quarters of this one. Javonte Williams looks back and better than ever. Dak Prescott, solid. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, both solid. How about Wan'Dale Robinson at the top of the board here? Jay, your Giants lose a heartbreaker, but fantasy relevance from a lot of surprises here.
Absolutely. I liked it on the rundown. It says the Giants passing game, is it back? When was it last there? Was it when Eli Manning threw to Mario Manningham in the Super Bowl? I haven't seen the Giants passing game since 2011.
Russell Wilson spoke after it on all the positive takeaways despite the loss.
I thought Malik played an incredible game. I mean, this guy is special. The plays that he was making, Malik Nabers, I think Wan'Dale had a tremendous game. Slay made some big plays, for us when we needed it. I thought the line did a tremendous job of giving me enough time, and credit those guys. We needed one more play, one more moment to make a big play, and unfortunately, they made it before we did. I was just proud of how to be able to answer the way we did. I've been a part of a lot of crazy games. I don't know if I've been a part of something that crazy and that much grit.
I don't know about that logo, the Russ logo on his hat.
It's not good. I know about it. It's bad. There's no ambiguity. It's objectively bad.
Giants country, let's ride.
Yeah.
You know what? Give credit. Listen, I think this loss is on the defense, like on the Giants' defense.
By far.
1,000%, right?
Now that's a take.
Yeah, thank you. God bless.
Nicely done.
Yeah, thank you very
24
much.
seconds left and they allow a field goal.
What are we doing playing soft zones when they just need 30 yards to get a field
That's
goal?
crazy.
Exactly.
You're better off sending the house. Like, what are you doing? You're just going to lose.
It was a failure of coaching and defense. I mean, it's not like I was talking on the way in. I was talking to somebody who said, yeah, like what a crazy game and that kind of stuff. What a kick. And I'm like, but that's not out of the ordinary. Brandon Aubrey makes those regularly.
Yeah.
Right. That's his range.
It's like
60.
Exactly. The Cowboys play totally different than most teams in that situation. Yes. Oh, we hit one completion and we tie the game. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just tough. The positives here are, though, Russ looked competent, looked pretty good. The deep balls to Malik and Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson. What happened to 3-yard average depth of target?
We've never seen him go that far in his life.
Who knows?
What are you doing past the line of scrimmage?
Do you think he was lost?
He finally got a GPS.
Crap, I'm in the end zone.
Yeah.
It was crazy. 29% of Russell Wilson's attempts traveled 15 or more air yards. Went 7 for 12 for 264, 3 touchdowns on those passes. Russell has always been able to throw kind of the deep moon ball, and credit to Brian Daboll for dialing up some of those plays. Going to Malik Nabers, he's a superstar, but Wan'Dale Robinson, career high 16.2 average depth of target in this game, 3 different receptions of 20 or more yards. Connor, is this something that we think continues, or was this kind of it was just sort of a nutty game?
It's a little bit of a perfect script. The Cowboys have been banged up in their secondary, and quite frankly, they just didn't look good in this one. Obviously, not even talking about not having Micah Parsons get after quarterback anymore. I thought there was legit secondary issues, but maybe it shows that he's not this, but viable. That would be exciting. Listen, this offense needs a number 2 pass catcher. Malik Nabers can handle volume as a number 1 as well as anybody, but if Russ is actually going to be – Russ finally just leaned into, I'm going to go down chucking the ball.
Yeah.
And it worked in this game.
Yeah.
And with the scripts the Giants play, where their secondary, or notably their defense, is coached horribly, they might be in scripts like this.
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of with Russ with these moon balls? It's like how Dan Campbell, when he goes for it on 4th down, I'm not sure it's really analytics. I think he's just hitting the same button over again. Yeah. It's like, we're just going to go for it. It's with Russ. It's like, I'm not sure this is amazing offense, but I'm just going to do it because why not? And this gives us a chance. Because he with the interception, it was terrible in overtime. It's a shocking decision and throw. But at the same time, Malik Nabers is a superstar, and Russell Wilson, I think there was concern after week 1 that maybe this offense just has no ceiling whatsoever and is completely broken. It's not like, I don't think the offensive line was great yesterday, despite Russell Wilson's comments, but he can get Nabers the ball deep, and that's really all that matters in this offense.
Yeah, to your point about Wan'Dale Robinson, though, 25% target share now in both games this season. They are going to need a number 2 pass catcher. We thought it might be Theo Johnson, but it looks like it is Wan'Dale Robinson. So, yes, I think Wan'Dale Robinson is a viable flex moving forward as well. Johnny Dangerly asks on YouTube, is Russell a viable option to cover my Joe Burrow loss? I would say maybe, except for this, especially because, by the way, he's running a little bit more.
Right.
Like, we hadn't seen him run recently.
There's more designed runs again yesterday.
Yes, no, that's the
and
thing.
you're not
the
fast,
design runs.
but they're doing it anyway.
No, but they are doing it anyway.
Well, it's in the playbook for Jackson Dart's eventual takeover of this offense.
I would agree with that. And that's the thing, is that I don't know. I think there are other viable options, as we talked about, and we'll talk about more about this tomorrow. But the concern here is also, at some point, Russell Wilson's losing his job. And then look at their upcoming schedule. So they're home to Kansas City this week. By the way, that's a Sunday Night Football game. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes.
More compelling now than it was 24 hours ago.
Very much so.
0-2 versus 0-2, 2 desperate teams. 2 big-name quarterbacks in Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. So they're home to Kansas City. Then they're home to the Chargers. They're at your plucky New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
And then they're home to Philadelphia. So 3 of the next 4 are at home, but Chiefs, Chargers, and Eagles are pretty good defenses. I know that the Chiefs aren't as dominant as before, but still
a problem.
There's still a problem. Yeah, as you sort of look at the schedule. And then, oh, by the way, look at that. Week 7 at the Broncos, Week 8 at the Eagles, 9 they're home to the 49ers, and then Week 10 at the Bears, usually a tough place to play in Chicago.
Our next game, Eagles-Chiefs, which had not a ton of scoring, but plenty of fun drama at the end. Chris Jones giving it to Jalen
I like how you
Hurts.
just moved past Javonte Williams. Okay, that's fine.
Is he a must? I saw somebody ask, is he a must start? I think
Yes.
Javonte Williams is a must start.
Yes. Sad. That's the world we live in now.
Solid
Sad.
RB too.
Yeah. Wan'Dale Robinson and Javonte Williams. Good job.
I mean,
Good times.
Dallas is going to be in position to score enough and Javonte just gets so much volume.
Here's the thing with
It's
Dallas.
one of the reasons why we like Dak,
Yeah.
because it's
Right.
again, the defense is bad.
You know, Kyrie Lamb played every single snap yesterday. Like, that's where the defense is at.
Yeah, you could see it. It looked that way. Yeah, it was
good.
brutal.
No.
So, but
Not good.
good
All right.
for us. All right, Chiefs-Eagles. Chiefs, unbelievably 0-2. That is the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era that's happened.
First
But-
time since 2014. By the way, they didn't make the
Crazy.
playoffs in 2014 either.
Well, they'll be okay this year, I think. But Mahomes at the top of this board, and as you see, not much fantasy relevance in this game. A lot of it is just Mahomes rushing. We got to hear from Patrick Mahomes just on the brutal 0-2 start to the season after the game.
Yeah, I think just after the first 2 weeks, you let games slip away. That we played two good football teams and made mistakes in big moments, stuff that we're not used to doing. But I think we're coming together as a team, man. I mean, when you deal with adversity, it's about how you deal with it. And obviously, this isn't how we wanted to start, but how are we going to respond? So I'm excited for the next few weeks to see who wants to be challenged and how we can get back and really get after it. I think the guys that we have in this locker room, they'll go back to work with that mindset of we're going to continue to work even harder so that when we step on that field this next time, we can find a way to win in those big moments like we have it this first 2 weeks.
I mean, guys, outside of Mahomes in this game and Saquon, there's just no fantasy production, Jay.
I think,
ugly.
to me, it's interesting
Rock fight.
because I know that the big story out of this game is that, the Chiefs are 0-2, the Chiefs offense. Like, the Chiefs offense has been like this this is 3 years in a row now.
Right,
like, this is just what they are until they get Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy back, and we get to see what that looks like.
Right, we're a while from that.
But to me, what is more interesting is, like, what's wrong with Philadelphia's passing game? Like, look at what the Giants did to Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, Jalen Hurts was like 6.6 yards per attempt against the Cowboys. Couldn't do anything through the air. By the way, look at what Justin Herbert did to the Chiefs. Like, why can't they do anything through the air? Jalen Hurts had 101 passing yards yesterday, 4.6 yards per attempt. A.J. Brown is just a non-entity out there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's very strange.
And Davante Smith, the majority of his production came on kind of one jump ball, sort of like that was underthrown, and Smith made a good play to come back to the ball. But I'm with you. It's like, it's a concern. Now, they've got a good defense. You can't stop the tush push, and, you know, they have a good run game, but, like, the passing game is a concern. The fact of the matter is that they should have been able to do much more than they did. And for our purposes in fantasy football, Davante Smith finishes as wide receiver 44, A.J. Brown wide receiver 59. 5 for 27 for A.J. Brown, 4 for 53. Both of them, I mean, A.J. Brown had a 38% target share and winds up with 5 receptions for 27 yards. Davante Smith, 28.5% target share, winds up 4 for 53. I don't want to. I'm probably still starting both guys next week against the Giants, but yes, cause for concern. A.J. Brown, who was drafted as a wide receiver 1, Rams, I think he's now probably like a wide receiver 3. Like, in terms of risk, I mean, in terms of it's like, there's potential there, but it's not guaranteed production. Same with Davante Smith; they're both right there.
It's like, this is their upcoming schedule. It's like, so it's Rams next week, then at Bucs, home Broncos. You got 2 games against the Giants, sandwiched with at Minnesota, and then at Green Bay, Detroit. Like, these aren't layups. Like, the Eagles finished first in the division last year. They got first place schedule. It's a brutal schedule overall, and they can't generate any explosives at all outside of like one bomb to Jahan Dotson in week 1. Like, there's just nothing. There's nothing there. There's no air.
Because of I had a guillotine league a team that had A.J. Brown and Justin Fields, and if Justin Herbert goes off tonight, I'm getting killed. I'm done. A.J. Brown just, out here
what's most
crushing teams.
I don't feel like Jalen Hurts is playing that badly. Like, I thought he played well against Dallas. It's just like there doesn't seem to be guys getting open.
With Dallas, it felt like they completely sold out in the secondary, and he took what was there as a runner, so you can't blame him for that at all. Yesterday, you're kind of looking around and going, okay, or do we have a long-term problem on our hands in terms of the passing efficiency?
Yep.
Yeah, and the answer is salty old dog says, is it worth making a low ball offer for A.J. Brown? I'm thinking something like Ricky Pearsall.
Rather have Ricky Pearsall? I don't know. The issue is Ayuk comes back.
I think I'd probably rather have A.J. Brown.
Me too.
But I mean, like, Pearsall has struggled as well. Jauan Jennings was the better wide receiver. We'll get to that game. But it's not like Pearsall's been earning targets at a high rate either. So I'd rather have A.J. Brown, but the fact that that's a question gives you an idea of how far he's fallen and how much concern we have about the consistency of this passing game. There'll be some big games, but there's also going to be games where it's just sort of like what we just saw this past weekend. I'm nervous about it.
So tough one for the Eagles offense in fantasy. All right, our next game here, not tough for the Detroit Lions, who absolutely walloped the Bears in this one, 52-21.
Yes.
Fantasy buffet for the Lions offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown almost touches 40 points. Jared Goff goes off throwing the ball. Jameer Gibbs was good in this one. Jameson Williams involved. David Montgomery was even effective after we were talking about him during flexual frustrations. Just a monster day for the Lions, but
Brock Wright instead of Sam Laporta, no big deal. What are you going to do? I was totally happy
the
about
old
that.
Brock Wright game. And on the other side of this for the Bears, the only good news for the Bears right now, it looks like Odunze is their future wide receiver 1, which Caleb Williams talked about after the game.
I think that's just us being together for, a year and a half now, or year and some change. And so being able to just, keep finding that rhythm with him, being able to get in rhythm with the other wide receivers, and get in rhythm with tight ends and everything. Just get everybody going. It's important to have everybody going and everybody to understand their role in this offense. That everybody is important. And I think today when you have a guy come out and he's making great catches for you and getting off man coverage and press and all these different things, you want to keep feeding him the ball. And I think that's just what happened today.
That was Caleb Williams on Odunze, who's off to a tremendous start here, Jay. I think, it's not even the question, you must start him now. It's a matter of what is his ceiling? How quickly do we forget? Top 10 pick, coming off a great college season with Michael Penix. More importantly, Ben Johnson's made it clear, like, this guy's the focal point of the passing game.
Played every single snap yesterday on offense as well, so he's getting a ton of usage. He's out there returning. He's got the rapport with Caleb Williams, and also his best defense is no good. Like, I came out of this game thinking two things. Like, one, how amazing is the Packers defense if the Lions are going to do this to the Bears and they couldn't do anything against the Packers? And then how bad is the Vikings offense if they couldn't do anything at all really against the Bears until the fourth quarter?
Well,
so
yeah, I got that answer last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that the Bears are going to be in a lot of shootouts. They're going to have to be if they want to keep in games. And Odunze, I think, now supplants DJ Morris, wide receiver 1.
1,000%. Team high 33% target share for Odunze. He's also, through 2 games, gotten 75% of the team's end zone targets. So they're not only looking for him a lot in the field, they're looking for him when they get in close as well. DJ Moore downgrades to kind of a wide receiver 3 and not an automatic start. Odunze is, however, an automatic start. It's been nice to see his emergence during what has been a tough start to the season for Chicago.
A tough start as well to the season for the Dolphins. The Patriots get their first win of the season, 33-27 in our next game here, guys, as the Dolphins fall to 0-2. At least this one, unlike week 1, much closer, and the passing attack somewhat back on track under Tua Tagovailoa. We got to hear from Tyreek Hill on just trying to build some momentum going forward.
We definitely can use this as momentum. Tua looked real good back there, throwing the appeal today, not only to myself but to Waddle and also A-Chain out the backfield. So it was a good feel. Felt like old times. So hopefully we can continue that momentum and go into the next week against Buffalo and just keep doing that same thing, keep attacking down the field, because that's one of our biggest strengths. If we're able to run the ball and then also attack downfield, I feel like we are going to put up a lot of points.
Felt like old times is something you think you'd hear like Aaron Rodgers say with Davante Adams.
Yeah.
Not the Dolphins, who it's not that far away.
Also, we can't be taking honorable losses out of losing at home by 6 points to the Patriots, who won 4 games last year. Like, that's just a little ridiculous. I thought, look, it's good that they were able to get the volume. I still think that the offense looked great. Like, Tua took 5 sacks. A lot of it was, they're going to be in a lot of shootouts because the defense is that bad. Drake May had like MVP level efficiency in terms of EPA per play in this game, and he looked fantastic. But I just worry about Tua getting through the season behind this offensive line, missing his whole blind side. There's no running game at the moment to take pressure off of him. So it's good that there was volume for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Achane in the passing game. But, yeah, worried about this situation going forward.
No question about it. Hill, 22% target share, 109 yards, his 3rd most in a game since the start of last season. Waddle with a 19% target share, 17.8 fantasy points, all good. Like, if there's a positive here, it's like, okay, they did what they should do against a bad defense. They were able to produce, but they played Buffalo on Thursday night. Like, how confident are you in starting anyone other than Achane Thursday night? And my answer is, like, not really, because I agree with you. Like, the numbers were there, but, like, to the eye test, you're like, they're still out of rhythm, and it was at home. They're much better at home. Tua has been much better at home throughout his career than he has been on the road. Thursday's game is at Buffalo.
Buffalo crushes Miami even when Miami are good.
Right.
So this is not a good.
Well,
it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, this game was 33-27, but you had a punt return from your boy Malik Washington. You could see how athletic he is. If Tyreek Hill is traded, I agree with that take. And then you had the kick return from Antonio Gibson. So there was special teams points in this game that added to the total as well. So, and then on the other side, Matthew, the one thing that you genuinely can be concerned about at this point, they don't really have a plan for TreVeyon Henderson right now.
They do not. 5 touches, 9% target share, played less than 30% of the snaps. Through 2 games this year, he's played 16 total touches. You got a couple of holding penalties in this game as well, which is sort of tells you, at least to me, that, he's not ready in pass pro, and so somebody's getting by him, so he's holding him, and now you're losing 15 yards, and then Mike Vrabel's like, screw this. Just Rhamondre Stevenson is boring and slow, but doesn't cost us 15 yards every time somebody blitzes. Right. And so, Stevenson ended up, playing almost over 60% of the snaps, 16 for 142. He looked good, looked spry. Looked like a young Jay Croucher out there.
Yes, that's what they say. And you're right about Vrabel.
Like Jay chasing his kids around.
I don't think you even do that. I think you just let them run wild.
Yes. You tell them to come back.
Bluegrass _RT. Real talk. Should I drop TreVeyon Henderson and pick up Cam Scattaboo? I think I wouldn't be willing to do that yet.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that yet, but I get the question because Scattaboo, we got, we'll talk more about him tomorrow in the waiver show, but like, there's an argument to be made. He took over this backfield from Tyrone Tracy yesterday. He looked like the better running back against Dallas, and certainly he's getting on the field more than TreVeyon Henderson is these days. Like, I don't think you can start TreVeyon Henderson until you see it, right? And Patriots play the Steelers next week. Now the game's in New England, but still, their upcoming schedule is not. It's okay. Home to Pittsburgh, home to Carolina. That's better. At Buffalo, you don't love that. At New Orleans, so. Two good starts, two bad.
Yeah, we'll see what Buffalo's defense looks like as well. I think with the Patriots, like Keyshawn Boutte did nothing. Stephon Diggs he got 5 targets, but largely nothing adjacent. Hunter Henry was unsighted. The only guy that you feel good about starting is Drake May, and then I think you feel okay about starting Rhamondre Stevenson as a low-end RB2, high-end flex, depending on how TreVeyon's usage develops. So those are the only 2 guys I'm interested in.
But yeah, I mean, if you drafted TreVeyon Henderson in the 4th round, which is where he was going, and you want to full-on panic, I think you're allowed to, because I think it's going to be a while. He'll eventually get a bigger role, but like, I don't see him doing it next week.
No, I think we're at the point where you just trusting rookie skill talent with Mike Vrabel is you kind of made your own bet at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's just not. He doesn't thrust guys into those roles, even if they seem like the most explosive option. So our last game, guys, I wasn't a believer, but I'm starting to. The Daniel Jones revenge tour, redemption tour, whatever you want to call it. This is a massive.
The stick man creating magic out of Daniel Jones.
A stick man, a shaman, if you will, reviving.
You're right. Shane Steichen, I mean, this is a huge win for the Colts over Denver, 29-28. A very efficient day for Daniel Jones and the offense as a whole. Jonathan Taylor goes absolutely off in this game. We got to hear from the artist formerly known as Danny Dimes on the 2-0 start.
Yeah, I think it does a lot for our confidence, for sure. I think we've had that, internally as a group. I think we felt, throughout training camp, through kind of last week and beginning of the season, we felt like we're a good offense, can play with anybody, and we gotta keep building on it. I think, last week we played well, but we were right back to work. After that, and had a good week of practice. I think we'll have the same mindset this week. We know there's things to clean up and tighten up if we're going to be the group we're capable of being.
I'll say this. So on, I do this thing called the Football Night in America podcast. So whatever it's.
I thought you were going to say the show, and I was like, yeah, I've watched it before.
Yeah, have you? Thanks, I appreciate it. But no, we after the Sunday night game, Maria Taylor, Mike Florio, Jason Garrett, and myself, we taped something called the Football Night in America pod. And so we were asked in the speed round, what was the most impressive win of week 2? And I said the Colts. I said the Colts beating the Broncos. Now, Shane Steichen drove me crazy with like settling for, playing for a 60-yard field goal when your guy can't even hit a 51 in practice, and they get bailed out with a penalty, whatever. The fact of the matter is that one of the best defenses in the NFL came to your house, and you move the ball consistently. Jonathan Taylor, over 200 yards from scrimmage, unbelievable. And Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, is now averaging over 26 fantasy points per game. He's been a top 5 quarterback in both weeks. He's got a rushing touchdown at least in each one. 300-yard passing game against the Broncos. Looks the part, moved it around. Tyler Warren, we've talked about, is just a superstar, but was able to get everyone involved, and I don't think this is a fluke. The Colts, by the way, they're at Tennessee this week. They're at the Rams. All right, that's a tough matchup. Home to Las Vegas, home to Arizona. They've got a real shot at being 5-1, or even 6-0.
It's on the table.
Colts are good.
The Colts are good.
Yeah, Colts are good.
They're good. I think that a couple things. One, I love Shane Steichen. They targeted Pat Surtain 9 times. They're just lighting up the Defensive Player of the Year. The way I look at Daniel Jones is he's just 2022 Daniel Jones. Like, that guy's back. It's the same level of player. He's 28 years old. He's in the best offensive environment of his career with the best weapons. He's got an elite running back, an elite tight end, and a good offensive line, and a great play caller. Like, I think that he can definitely flirt with being a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Now, towards the bottom end of the top 10, as he was in 2022, but that's how I would view Daniel Jones.
That's what I'm saying. Again, if you've lost Joe Burrow and Daniel Jones is still sitting out there, he is a We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but he is a priority on the waiver wire. Other side of the ball here, Connor. Troy Franklin, we've been waiting for this. Bo Nix's former college teammate. Yep. And Are you buying this from Troy Franklin, or was this just a good day at the office?
I'm in on this. He was a top 40 player for me, so I've been waiting for the breakout. I loved him in that draft. He is an excellent deep threat. I think he had a tough welcome to the league adjustment where he needed to get stronger, he needed to get a little bit sharper, they needed to trust him. I think the most important thing, Matthew, is they trust him and he's out on the field now because he can run by anybody in this league. I am highly encouraged by this, and I am in on Troy Franklin at least being the number 2 of this offense
He
right
played
now.
more snaps than Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
So that shows you that I think he's real.
With his speed, he can always help open up the run game, so he should be on the field as much as possible. It's just good to see him actually making the most of his targets.
Yeah, poor Marvin Mims. We keep waiting.
It's like year 4 of us having this combo.
We've been waiting for Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin seems to have literally and figuratively run by him. Franklin led the team in targets, receptions, receiving yards, both in this game and last game. So through 2 games, he is the Broncos leader in targets, receptions, and receiving yards. 30% target share in week number 2 for Troy Franklin, the former Oregon Duck.
Some injuries we're tracking coming out of the weekend. Of course, Joe Burrow, we talked about that one extensively. Jaden Daniels with the potential knee injury. Justin Fields is in concussion protocol. We'll see if that's a Tyrod Taylor game in Tampa Bay next week. Aaron Jones became questionable with that hamstring injury during the game. Jaden Reed, the broken collarbone, he's going to be down now for a while. Kamante Turpin has a neck injury, so some big ones that we will be following all week long.
I literally feel like at least 2 or 3 times a year, Aaron Jones leaves the game early with a hamstring injury.
All the time.
Like, I just feel like it's constant. Like, since he was a rookie. Anyway.
Deep breath. And you can take another one because we're taking our first break. When we're back, Weekend Warriors and Sunday Scaries right after this.
All right.
I've worked a lot on my mindset this offseason, and obviously when you're having your first start, you're going to have a couple nerves, but just working through those. And once I finally got into a rhythm, and it felt like the line did a great job blocking for me. And when they do that, I know I can sit in there and let it fly. So really the guys around me, like Trent, came up to me, he's like, "You're good, dude, just go out there and hoop." And I was like, "I got you, I can go hoop." And then once he said that, I was like, "All right, let's play ball." So that was kind of cool.
You know, he plays with a lot of passion. You know, I think that's what San Francisco's made, you know, this team about. You know, we come out and we're just fiery and ready to go, and Mac is a great example of that.
That was Mac Jones and Jauan Jennings after the Niners win. Jauan Jennings is looking like he's ready to go dirt bike contest style.
Or a Prince tribute show.
Yeah, maybe that too. Maybe we can do both in one day. We'll see how it goes. Solid day, though, for Mac Jones, who, when he continues to get these opportunities filling in for injured starters, he takes full advantage of them. So Mac Jones and Jauan Jennings, Matthew, headline our Weekend Warriors here.
5th career game with 3 touchdown passes, his best fantasy game since week 1 of 2023 with New England. The Mac attack happens home to Arizona next week, so could be a reasonable streamer next week as well, as long as he's filling in for Brock Purdy. Jauan Jennings, though, to me, this is the more interesting one because I thought he came into the game questionable. We talked about this on Fantasy Football pregame that, oh, hey, look, Schefter's saying he is going to play. He did end up playing. Good call by Adam. But the question was, well, he's probably going to take a backseat to Ricky Pearsall. Not so fast.
Right.
26% target share. That was a team high. His last 9 completed games, he has got almost a 30% target share, Connor. So Jauan Jennings we talk about this all the time. When he's out there, he's good.
That's the thing. He missed a lot of camp. There was some weird contract and injury stuff going on, and then he gets hurt week 1. But when he's healthy, we know he could have these monster weeks. Jay, how about Davante Adams? I wouldn't say turning back the clock because he's just really been good as he's gotten older, but this is what the Rams are looking for when they gave him that big contract, 106 yards and a touchdown.
Absolutely. Looked spry, looked explosive, seemed to have a rapport with Matthew Stafford. Looked a very young 32.5 Davante Adams. Also, quick shout out to the man he replaced, Cooper Kupp. Not washed. Looked good. Looked really good against the Steelers. Much, much better than week 1.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Great bounce back for Cooper Kupp.
Thank goodness. And the Rams, we've seen this before with Kupp and Nakua. We've seen this. Sean McVay offenses can support 2 very fantasy-relevant wide receivers.
They just throw the ball to their 2 best players over and over again, and that's what worked out best for them yesterday. James Cook, 21 carries, Matthew, 132 yards. He had the big touchdown run. 2 touchdowns on the day where Josh Allen, who we'll get to in a second, did not have to do anything in this game.
No, it was super annoying as somebody who has a lot of Josh Allen and not a lot of James Cook this year.
Right.
This is a super annoying game. But look, as we talked about here, James Cook has to have touchdown regression. Just hasn't come anytime soon. He was awesome.
We're just waiting for it.
No, listen, he's had at least 21 fantasy points in both games this season. They paid him for a reason. He's back to being, a top 15 fantasy running back. Those of you who faded him in the preseason, sheepishly raises my hand, looking a little foolish because the usage has been there, especially in scoring position.
A more difficult one to figure out, Seattle's backfield, Jay. Kenneth Walker has the day, 13 carries, over 100 yards and a touchdown. But Zach Charbonnet still got a ton of work where this one to short-term celebrate. I don't know what the long-term outlook is for this duo.
Good news is Ken Walker looked amazing. He was 13 for 105. He just looked like peak Ken Walker. All the underlying stats were amazing there too. Bad news is he played 23 snaps, which was 50% less than Zach Charbonnet played. I think I'm now back to preferring Ken Walker just because of the upside, and he just looked a lot better than Charbonnet. But I think this was just going to be a weekly nightmare at this point.
I think that's exactly right. I think it's going to be sort of a weekly hot hand approach. And like in week 1, Charbonnet was looking better. This week, Ken Walker, I agree with you, look shot out of a cannon. They're both flex plays. Yep. And I think if you have one or the other, you're just going to sort of start and hope it's their week. If you have both of them, good luck. It's going to be tough because to your point, he played 36% of the snaps. He just looked a lot better than Charbonnet in week 2.
How about a welcome back to Hunter Renfrow on Weekend Warriors? This is with Davante Adams, it's not turning back the clock. With Hunter Renfrow, it is turning back the clock. Caught 7 to 9 targets, 48 yards, but 2 touchdowns, Matthew.
Yeah, the touchdowns are a bit fluky, but I have to tell you, so far in 2 seasons, we love him personally, friend of the podcast, Xavier Legette, but it's not happening for him.
No,
He's just not being able to. So, obviously, Teteroa McMillan is just a target hog, but after him, there's, as we sort of talked about with Wan'Dale Robinson, somebody has to be the number 2 pass catcher on this team, and until Jalen Coker comes back, it's Hunter Renfrow.
Yep. Almost in the Adam Thielen.
You've got Hubbard, but
yeah.
Legette is just not doing anything.
No, and this was what happened when Adam Thielen was solid there.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was somebody always taking away the targets you expect for Legette. All right, let's go to Sunday Scaries, guys, and headlined by, listen, you got to give Jay credit. It's the end for Derrick Henry. 11 carries, 23 yards. It's a good career for Derrick Henry. Week 2 against the Browns, not so great.
No, not great at all. To be honest, to be fair, I didn't know he could have these games in this Baltimore offense. To go 11 for 23, it was just a strange game for the Baltimore offense in general, so I think you've got to downgrade that a little bit. But, Henry, I guess these games are possible when you only really play half the snaps for a lot of the time.
Yeah, just kind of a game script went weird, and they had, first and goal at the 3, and you're like, oh, here comes Derrick Henry, and then, they try to play and tackle and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, he just never gets into the end zone. It was just a weird game. What are you going to do? I will say, though, Derrick Henry's bad game, along with Chase Brown, Cortland Sutton, Sam Laporta, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, all on my team.
Oh, good.
All of them combined to have less than Rhamondre Stevenson, who backup producer Pete started. Backup producer Pete washing me. Just absolutely destroying me.
It's not great.
He's doubling me up this week.
You had to say the champs 0-2.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the Chiefs.
You know what they say about 0-2? Not a lot of teams dig out of it.
I know.
It's big adversity for you.
A lot of adversity. Gut check. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be tough. We'll have to see how I play. But, I mean, seriously, like, Pete is just destroying me. He's going to wind up with the highest score in the league. But I wouldn't have beaten anyone. Like, my entire team didn't show up. Darnell Mooney, 4 points.
Okay, Chubby Leather Daddy's 2-0. The train marches on.
Well done.
Juggernaut.
Fantasy Life commenter just steamrolling everyone in his path.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
glad at least that someone on this table is doing it. Tough game. We talked about this because Josh Allen was so good and because your Jets literally didn't show up.
They were out of this game after the first quarter, so Josh Allen didn't need to do anything.
No, he averaged under 6 yards per pass attempt. His first game with 0 touchdowns since week 4 of last year. Speaking of the Jets, they just imploded. Justin Fields was brutal. He leaves the game with a concussion, but he wasn't doing much prior to that, and neither was Breece Hall.
Right, and they were down by 20 points almost instantly, so it took away the run game, which took away Breece Hall. So a tough week for Breece Hall after a very strong week 1. Marvin Harrison Jr. with a quiet game as well, and this is what kind of drove us nuts last year, Matthew. He, has a good week where you're like, okay, this is it, and then he has a 2 for 27 yards kind of week. Kyler also weird decisions in this game.
Kyler did not have a good game. Cardinals are lucky to get away with a win in this one. Only the Panthers' implosion saved them. But 20% target share through only 2 games this season. Like, they're not getting them the ball in a significant way as well. And it's weird. They didn't even try to target them downfield. 5.4 average depth of target in this one. Hopefully better days are ahead for Marvin Harrison. We're out of time. I'll just say the Vikings are a disaster. That offense last night was absolutely brutal.
Taking our last break. When we're back, last call, Monday Night Football doubleheader. We got our best bets for you right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV. Just download the Sportsbook app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, the crown! It is yours!
Okay, crown is yours.
Crown is yours. Let's take a look at the most bet player props for the Monday night games here with Justin Herbert's alt passing yards. 250 plus is minus 120 leading the board. Baker Mayfield ultimate passing touchdowns 2+ is second at plus 108. Jay, what are you cooking?
That at plus money? Baker throwing 2?
Sure.
I think
okay. Tough matchup, but okay.
I think it's faith in the Texans defense.
Yeah.
Like Baker Mayfield 2 touchdowns should typically always be in the minus territory. So a lot of faith in the Texans.
I mean, what did the Rams score? 14 points against the Texans. It might be the best defense in football.
Yeah, they have to be.
The Raiders are not the best defense in football. And my man Justin Herbert.
But Denver was the best defense until Danny Dimes carved them up. So you never know.
Exactly.
All right,
So I think that Justin Herbert, is going to replicate his performance in Brazil and continue to throw the ball at a very high rate. I think the beneficiary of that is going to be the great Ladd McConkey, who people are freaking out about because Quentin Johnston went off in Sao Paulo and so did Keenan Allen. This offense, the passing game still goes through Ladd McConkey. I like him over 5.5 receptions. He played almost every passing snap in week 1. He will get more usage.
He'll be McConkulous.
Yeah, that's a really good number, 5.5. I like that.
Laddalicious, not bad. But McConkulous is better.
Okay, sure.
I think it'll be
Drop
a good.
it on FNIA.
I agree with you. I think it'll be a good night for the Chargers offense, but I expect the Raiders to hang around. I'm going to take them getting 3.5 points. I think Pete Carroll's Raiders team this year is going to be very feisty, very annoying. People forget they are 1-0, by the way, and it's looking positive for Brock Bowers to play in this game.
Which is fantastic, but Brock Bowers, even if he plays, might be less than 100%. I agree with you. Geno looking good. I think they hang around. So Jacoby Myers over 63.5 receiving yards. Look, guy had a 30% target share in week 1. He's been over this number in 5 of his last 8 games dating back to last season. And remember, in week 1, the Chargers allowed the second most yards to the slot. Myers can move all over, including playing out of the slot. So they'll try to get him some easy catches. So yes, give me Jacoby Myers over 63.5 receiving yards tonight. We're all in the Raiders-Chargers as an area to bet tonight.
Weird choice by us, meaning we have to stay up until God knows when to see if the bet's cash. But that's the
East Coast football fans drink free tomorrow.
Yes,
God,
right.
dude.
Here's Matthew's top players in the game. Justin Herbert comes in as a top 10 play at quarterback. Geno Smith as a top 20 play at quarterback. Hopefully a big week for the rookies in Ashton Genty and Amarian Hampton.
Yeah, QJ, I still have a wide receiver 44. I think last week was a fluke. We'll see if he gets more usage. I do think Keenan Allen is viable as a low-end wide receiver 3 tonight. We move to the Buccaneers at the Texans. Again, we think this is more of a defensive battle. Can Nick Chubb get anything going? I'm outside my top 30. Obviously, you're starting Bucky Irving and Nico Collins, but I have both quarterbacks outside my top 10 this week.
Tough matchup. Excited to see the Chubbler tonight.
Yes, the original Chubbler.
Yes, the original Chubbler, the OC.
Running into the wall that is Vita Van.
Yeah,
it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. For Jay and Connor, I'm Matthew Berry. May your Monday Night Miracles come through. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.